Money, 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 money. Today we're tackling a big myth, one that does a lot of harm and just isn't true. There's an idea frequently floated around that people who are economically poor are bad at budgeting money. Let's be clear, that's a myth. In fact, the reality is often the opposite. Most people living in poverty know exactly how to stretch a dollar because they have no other choice. Let's break it down. First, let's look at where this myth comes from. There is this assumption that if someone is struggling financially, they must not know how to manage money properly. But that ignores the reality of low wages, rising costs of living, unpredictable expenses, and systems that are often designed to keep people in survival mode. It ignores that financial assistance provided by governments comes nowhere close to the cost of survival. Being poor doesn't mean you're bad with money. It means you don't have enough of it to meet your basic needs.
Inflation fear is front and
Everyone, everywhere is paying
yourself for that trip to the gas pump.
more affordable housing, rising cost of living. It's not exactly breaking news.
Think about it. If you've ever had to decide between paying rent or buying food, you know how much planning and prioritization goes into that. People living in poverty often become budgeting experts out of necessity. They know exactly how much they can afford, how to stretch meals or even if they need to skip meals, and how to juggle bills to keep things afloat. Most poor people never experience homelessness, not because they have extra resources, but because they've mastered the art of financial survival. So, if budgeting is not the issue, what is? The real issue is that wages haven't kept up with the cost of living. The real issue is that unexpected expenses, things like a medical bill or car repair, can wipe out someone's entire savings in an instant. The real issue is that many financial systems and supports assume people have a financial cushion when they don't. The real issue is that government assistance for people in dire financial straits is almost always well below the cost of living and is rarely indexed to inflation. This includes seniors on a fixed income. And let's be real for a second. A lot of so-called budgeting classes for people experiencing homelessness aren't really designed with their realities in mind. Instead of being led by people who've lived through financial hardship, they're often taught by well-meaning people from the burbs. People who have never had to decide between paying the electric bill or getting their child a winter coat. People who have never had to navigate payday loans, eviction notices, or surviving on food assistance. They think giving coupon clipping service advice is the only way to stretch a dollar, for example, without factoring in the cost of transportation to get from one store to another to redeem the damn coupon. This isn't to say these folks aren't trying to help, but it highlights a deeper issue. If we really want to support people in poverty, we need to make sure they're being taught by people who look like them, understand their struggles, and have lived through similar experiences. Lived experience matters. Representation matters. And having someone who understands poverty firsthand leads to advice that actually makes sense. And that is assuming it is necessary to offer budgeting classes at all. Rather than putting everyone into the same boat, maybe we should start by understanding the strengths of each person and then understanding what they're already capable of when it comes to money management. You'd be surprised how many people are amazing at budgeting, but they just don't have enough money. One more budgeting class is not going to fix that. In fact, it's mean, it's condescending, and it's ineffective. So instead of outdated and out-of-touch budgeting classes, here's how we can truly help. 1. Understand their reality. Traditional budgeting advice doesn't always work when there's no disposable income to move around. Start by understanding what their actual financial situation looks like, how much comes in, how much goes out, and where the real pressure points are. Focus more on one-on-one advice and support rather than making everyone live their poverty out loud in a group classroom. 2. Prioritize flexibility over rigid rules. Some financial advice assumes a level of stability that doesn't exist for many low-income individuals. Instead of telling someone to always put a fixed percentage into savings, help them develop strategies for dealing with unpredictable income and expenses. And 3, focus on access to resources. Sometimes, the best budgeting help isn't about cutting costs, but about connecting people to additional resources. Things like food banks, rental assistance, medical support programs, or income boosting opportunities, like participating in the labor force again. It's about making sure people have more to work with, not just assuming they should spend smarter. Employment supports, from entering the labor force to exploring alternate jobs that are higher paying, can also be helpful resources to connect people to. And 4, challenge the stigma. People struggling financially often face judgment instead of support. Creating a space where they can talk openly about their challenges without shame, that can make a huge difference. So, let's stop blaming individuals for systemic problems. So what's the bottom line? Being poor is often not a budgeting issue, it's a money issue. And instead of pushing myths that blame people, we need to focus on solutions that actually help. If we want to make a difference, we need to listen, support, and advocate for changes that create real financial stability. Let me know what you think. Have you seen this myth in action? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you found this video to be helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more conversations on topics like this, and share with those in your circle. Thanks for watching.